Beginning on ODO podcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the ODO podcast, where normal is not my specialty. I am your host, the wondering why I have so many kids, Adam Higgins, the Odd Dad Out. You can find me at oddadoutpodcast.com. I figured I'd just throw that in there in the front. And this is the show where I ramble and rant about whatever's going on in my head. I share some dad stories, lots of those today. I make fun of some assholes in the news, and I tell you about a podcast I think you need to check out, because sharing is caring. What can I say? That's just kind of my thing. Because I've just been doing it. How are you? One day I will get an answer from somebody besides Heather or Chris, because I think they do it just to humor me. But, oh man, it's been a weird couple of weeks. I've been so busy. And I've primarily been busy because, once again, I got sick. And peeling back the curtain, my monthly guest episodes, I record at least a week in advance so that I have time to edit them and do all that fun jazz, which is really helpful because by this time last week, I was stuck in bed sick with a sinus infection and whatever the hell crud my kids had. You know, I was sitting there, just sinuses and throat and all that just inflamed to hell, and a fever bounding around the 101 area pretty consistently for basically the rest of the week. Like, from Tuesday night it started and it rolled through, and I went to work Tuesday night, was miserable by the end of the night, and I did not go back to work until Saturday, and even Saturday I was half dead, and the guy that I was working with was commenting on how zombie-esque I looked. But this is not going to be one of those, oh, I was so sick episodes. This is actually more of the side effects of me being sick, basically stuck in bed or on my couch for a week, and not really being capable of getting shit done. So, get over all of the crud and finally be able to be back and functional dad again. And I've got a lot of crap. And I've got a lot of kids who like to add on to the pile of crap that there is to do, even when there's a huge pile of crap to do. So, gonna rewind. Let's go back in time to basically the last week. So, I know I've mentioned we have a lot of animals. I don't remember how long ago it's been since I've talked about all of my animals, but quick rundown. We have a 12-year-old Dalmatian. We have 2 cats, 2 fish, and a tortoise. So, I'm willing to accept the, how do you keep up with all of that? Because I seem to get that for just about every situation in my life. Like, how do you work all night and handle your little boys and do your podcast and the this and you have all these animals? Yeah, I get a lot of that. I don't know. I just do it. But the thing about having all of these animals is you have to do shit with them, and it creates a conflict of interest with children, because kids like to fuck with animals, or they at least like to mess with animal stuff, especially Sam. Now, Sam loves to fight with the cats. That's just his thing, because my wife's cat, Toby, is a jerk, and Sam likes to start shit with him. He loses because cats have claws that he doesn't. But he also really loves our fish. I don't know why. Personally, I could drop them off in a golf course water hazard and not bat an eye, minus the, ass whooping I would get from my wife if I did that, because for some reason she's attached to these fish that we acquired from my sister. Like almost all of the animals. But he loves the fish. He loves to just stare at them. He loves to talk to them. He wants to take care of the fish. He loves when I have to clean out the tank. I hate when I have to clean out the tank. One more reason to not get fucking fish. But he decided the other day that he wanted to feed the fish, which is, a noble cause. This is a great thing. Sam wants to feed the fish, except Sam is 3, and he can't reach the fish food. That's on purpose, because, you can just imagine what would happen if a 3-year-old tried to feed fish. He'd probably dump the entire thing in there. So, yeah, he can't reach the fish food. What he can reach is that box of Fruit Loops that's on the dinner table from breakfast. Because nobody put the fucking Fruit Loops away this morning. Or this particular morning. And he decides he's going to go and give the fish Fruit Loops. And he threw a good handful or two of Fruit Loops into the fish tank. And the next thing I know, I've got all 3 other boys running down the hall screaming, Dad, Sam put Fruit Loops in the fish tank. And this is on a Sunday morning, and Sunday morning is when we rest. Sunday morning is the one day of the week where it's the weekend. My wife and I are both off of work. We don't have any obligations in the morning on Sunday until we have to go pick up the groceries, theoretically. Because, we order our groceries and pick them up. So the last thing I want to hear is an excuse to have to get up in early and quickly. Yeah, no such luck. I get to the living room, I see the fish tank, and it is completely cloudy. And we've only got 2 fish, because the other 3 have died or gotten eaten by said other fish. But I guess technically if they got eaten, they're dead too. That would just be really complicated if they got eaten like 2 years ago. Anyway. Tank is completely cloudy. There's a bunch of, pretty much almost liquidy dissolved Fruit Loops floating on the top. And I'm like, fuck, find me the net. Where's the net? I need the net to clean I need the net. Where's the net? Where's it? Freaking out because the net is supposed to be in the little bucket with all the other fish tank tools, and it's not fucking there. They find a net. For some reason, it's under the fucking sink. But they find the net. I fish out all the mess, all this colorful goo that has been floating on top of the tank, but as far as I can tell, before the fish started messing with it. But I'm sitting here like, shit. How much sugar and other crap has now just been pumped into this fish tank, and what is going to happen to the fish? I honestly was thinking, fuck, these fish are dead. And on top of that, I didn't have any more water conditioner from my last water change. So I don't have what I need to do. I don't have the materials here to add to the tank to help clean this crap out of there. Nothing. I've just got to hope the filters filter it. Fortunately, and big ass air quotes, fortunately, they made it. By the next day, it was all cleared up and the fish are still alive. It's one. I didn't have to. I'd say I wouldn't have to flush them. They're not goldfish. They're quite large. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to bury them. They're quite large, and so they're not like koi large, but they're fist-sized fish. They're not going down a toilet. They're getting buried a la dumpster. But they've survived. Resilient little fuckers. But as much as I hate the fish and I hate having to take care of them, because for all intents and purposes, they're my wife's fish. She doesn't take care of them. I do. I have to do all the tank maintenance and pump cleanings and all of the stuff. But they're her fish. So fuck the fish. I wish them to die, but I don't wish them to die painfully via Fruit Loop water. That's not how I wanted to get rid of the fish. I wanted them to die on their own, natural causes, old age, whatever the fuck, eat each other. I don't care. Go away, fish. But yeah, they didn't die a miserable Fruit Loopy death. So there's that. I guess as far as, fish tails go, that could be a lot worse. But yeah, but my pet troubles have not just been limited to fish and kids trying to feed the fish. I've also had fucking cats being assholes, because I mentioned my wife's cat's a jerk. Well, he decided the other day that he was going to pee in the tortoise box. Yeah. So our tortoise has, the little big long box that she lives in. It's full of straw. And get up in the morning. Well, no. Boys get up in the morning and once again come running out. Dad, Toby's peeing in Shelby's box. Shelby being the tortoise. Because my sister, who named him, super creative. But anyway, Toby's peeing in Shelby's box. And once again, I have to jump up early, and I'm tired, and go and try and, I'm not about to pick him up. He's in the middle of peeing in the tortoise box. But it sucked because towards the back, we have a flower pot towards the back that's kind of her little personal cave. And he not only peed in the box, he peed into that thing. But either way, this box that the tortoise lives in and the straw that is the bedding in said box is now all cat pee. And of course, it's male cat pee. Not that it so much matters because he's fixed. But we've got now pungent box of cat pee straw in the corner. So, fun. I have to do an emergency cleanup of the box. Well, on top of all this, so we got to take the box out, got to dump all the straw, got to spray it out and clean it and deodorize it and do all this shit. But meanwhile, I've got to take Shelby and put her in the sink and clean her off because, pee runs down and it got on her and all this. Do all this crap. Okay, fine. Why? Because cats are dicks and, maybe he was just feeling lazy and he didn't want to go to back to their litter box because the litter box is in the bathroom because it keeps it away from kind of everything else. Well, fine. That's all done. Over. Done. Complete. Game over. No. The next fucking morning. Exact same shit all over again. I'm the fuck? Boys yelling, Dad, Toby's peeing in Shelby's box again. Except this time, Shelby is much further up, and he's not only peeing in the brand new fucking fresh straw that I just put down yesterday, he's actually peeing on the turtle. Because she's right there. Ugh. Once again, got to do an emergency cleanup. Want to strangle the cat. So I go check. I'm why the hell does he keep peeing in the turtle box? Because I just changed the litter. It's I know the litter box shouldn't be they shouldn't have a problem. What the hell's up with the litter? I go check the litter box. And I'm what the fuck? And then I just hear the boys, oh yeah, Bug threw a bunch of water into the litter box, which has effectively turned the entire top of the litter into a brick. That the cats cannot use the litter box because there's a brick on it. No fucking wonder he's peeing in the straw. And we go to find out the other cat has been pooping in the dirty clothes pile because the boys wouldn't put their fucking clothes away. That's a whole other thing. But I got one cat pooping on a laundry pile. I've got the other one peeing on the tortoise. And I'm fuck. So now, on top of, I need to do an emergency tortoise cleanup. And now this is Monday. So this is now I have to do all this and acquire all the stuff I need to get first thing in the morning after taking the boys to school, because now my wife isn't there for me. She's like, hey, I'm going to go do this. No, she's at work. This is all now taking place in school day, early morning. What the hell? I shouldn't be doing this much shit on a Monday morning already time. And completely changing out all the litter again, completely changing out the tortoise box again, and all of this stuff. And I'm just, I love my boys. But in the last week, they've given me so many friggin' about fucking pets. But my problems have not just been pet related this week. Because like I said, I was sick. And it's March now. And Arizona goes from winter to spring in a weekend. And so we went from a couple of weeks ago, like the week before I was sick, being raining and hailstorms. And if you remember last week's episode, that was recorded during a hailstorm. Lots of that kind of weather. It was cold. Well, come to this week, and this whole past week while I was sick, it was mid to upper 70s last week while I was sick. It's going to be 84 degrees today. Yeah. The fuck, weather. We literally went from freezing rain to get out your shorts and your sunglasses in the course of 2 weeks. Welcome to springtime in Arizona. And it's not even fucking spring yet. But what that means is we got lots and lots of rain and lots of sun, and all of that adds up to lots and lots of grass. And when I'm too sick to mow the grass or do any of it, it gets a little out of control. So not only did, my front yard get really scraggly, and I've had to battle with that. Over the winter, I don't have to worry about it that much. It's too cold for it to get that bad. But, suddenly it gets a flooding and a jolt of sunlight, like fucking Captain Planet, and it just takes off. And so, yeah, my front yard got all scraggly and out of control. I was like, fine, go mow the yard, edge it, make it look all nice and neat before I get an HOA fine, because you all know how much I love the HOA. And then I have to tackle the backyard. Now, the backyard, I literally have not done jack shit with in about 6 months. And I think the last time I really was even back there for anything, I was washing the dog. Because our backyard is basically barren. There's nothing back there. It's dirt. And so I just wasn't doing anything. Well, there's dirt and there's a handful of weeds and a little bit of, scraggly, like crabgrassy type shit. Well, when you have an entire week of rain and then a lot of sunlight, grass gets long, but it's, domesticated grass. It's, it's a lawn. It only gets so long and shaggy and out of shape. Weeds, on the other hand, bury your children. And I had basically a forest of weeds for a backyard no less than 4 feet tall. And it's one of those things, like I said, you follow me on Instagram, you saw the pictures of our dog Emmett in the weeds, which were quite maybe a good 2 feet over him. And again, Labrador Dalmatian, he's a tall bitch. The weeds went over our AC unit. I had to cut all that out. But fuck. I was basically my first day out of being completely miserable sick. I'm a functional adult human. I'm still congested because, well, I'm always congested. But, I'm not, sinus inflamed and just full of crap and miserable and coughing up junk and fevery and all that. I'm finally normal, functional adult human again. And then I get to spend all this time hacking away, using my weed eater like a freaking chainsaw to saw down all these big ass weed shrubs that I've got. And I still haven't finished it. I probably won't get it finished until this weekend. And that was just cutting it down to where I don't have 4-foot weeds in my yard. That's all that was. I still need to collect all that shit. Like, I need to mow it over, really, just to grind it up and mulch it or something. But I need to do all that, and I need to bag it all up and get it, fuck, so much work. It's just so much work. And yeah, I know, if I'd have been, keeping an eye on my yard and actually maintaining shit, I wouldn't have this problem. But, I saw a picture that was one of those things where you see, like, oh, here's the front yard, and it's all perfect and pristine, and then you look in the backyard, and it's I think there's a car on fire, and a 5-foot weeds, and it's like, yeah, because you don't have to keep your backyard looking nice for curb appeal. My backyard looks like shit. That's it. I don't, like, back when we used to grill a lot, I kept it up, but not so much. But like I said, I've by this weekend, I'm going to have to get back there and finish hacking it all down. And yeah, I'm not looking forward to this. That's just so much. So I still have about half the yard of weeds I have to hack down, and I'm not looking forward to it. Oh, man. That's what I get for getting sick. And also ignoring the backyard for 6 months. But that's what I get. Weather. Fucking springtime. Almost. But that's going to bring me to this first break. Because, man, I've been going. Because I said at the beginning, I had a bunch of stuff going on this week. But I'm going to take a break. Finish my coffee. Play you some promos. And I will be right back with the news.
If you're looking for an in-depth, detailed, academic analysis of the past, devoid of any comedy or entertainment value presented by an educated historian with a PhD, this isn't the show for you. Hi, I'm Tawny Plattis, a professional voiceover actor who gives a very casual, very Southern Californian, and hopefully very comedic retelling of the sexy, scandalous, and salacious stories from history your teacher probably left out on my podcast, The Dirty Bits. Catch the show on TawnyVoice.com or anywhere podcasts are found. Chat soon, Lovebug.
It's 7:38. Shut up, everyone.
Woo!
This is Leo.
This is Kitty.
This is Fez.
This is Jackie.
This is Cobra, what's up?
And Midgie.
We are Afterburn 739 podcast coming to you from Scrish Bar.
Tune in every week and hear us talk about anything and everything. We are not politically correct.
We are certainly not well informed.
Sometimes we will make shit up.
But we will make you laugh.
You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, or Afterburn739.com.
And Twitter and Afterburn739.
What's Stitcher?
Hello, Kitty. Welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party. My jingle.
And you never know who might turn up in Scrish Bar in the Turkey Bucket Gallery.
Bullshit from the news.
All right, I filled long enough. Let's get into it. Man fakes kidnapping to avoid his Super Bowl bets. Yeah, so a New York man claims he was kidnapped by two men who he was involved in a Super Bowl bet with, and apparently they robbed him of about $16,000. Yeah, so he says, oh, I picked up these guys, we're all in this big Super Bowl bet, and then they jumped me, and they made me drive around, and then they tied me up, and they stole all my money. The thing about that is that the police don't buy it. So he said he was being held for about 3 days, but when the police showed up, he was freshly shaven and really had no signs of distress. And they were just like, yeah, when people have been kidnapped and the police show up to rescue them, they're usually so, like stressed out and excited. It's like, oh, thank you. Thank you. You saved me and blah, blah, and all that. He was just nonchalant, like, oh, hey. And again, clean shaven. If you've been being held captive for 3 days, you'd have a little bit of stubble going, especially for an older guy. And, suspiciously, the money that was stolen was money he owed to other people in Super Bowl bets. So, yeah, he's been arrested for filing a false police report and a handful of other fun charges. But, yeah, I mean, dude, this is another case of, like, the guy a few weeks back who faked his own kidnapping but only, tried to get like $130 out of his mom. Like, make it worth it and plan better. Seriously, planning. You're faking a kidnapping, at least, plan it accurately. Drive your truck around and put some miles on it. Make sure your truck that you're supposed to have been driving around for 2 days has been seen driving around for 2 days, where you said it's supposed to be, and things like that. And, the long story short, it seems like he just didn't want to pay his bets, or he didn't have the money or whatever. I guess it says he was basically made up a bunch of fake names and was placing bets with multiple names to capitalize. And was like, oh yeah, I'm like, he's John Smith and Smith Johnson and Dave Robinson and he's all like placed bets as a bunch of different people, and then he lost. And so he owed a lot more money than he would have originally, dumbass. So I could see trying to get out of those bets, but faking your kidnapping is like, they're still going to want the money, dumbass. They don't care if you were kidnapped and robbed. You still owe the money, dumbass. Not topping the news this week, though. Moving on to a pair of stories similarly connected. Russia bans athletes from drinking during drug tests. So, I'm just going to say, how is this not already banned? Russia recently announced that they are now barring athletes from drinking alcohol during doping tests. They claim they have experienced too many instances of rude, aggressive, intoxicated athletes causing trouble for the testing staff. Duh. Because apparently in Russia, it's just totally common to have a post-game beer when you need to give a urine sample. Why not water? Why not Gatorade? Something. Like, man, I don't want to drink a bunch of water. Fucking Gatorade. Something. What the hell, Russia, that you're... it's like, oh, I'm sitting, that you're basically, they're saying that they're sitting there, like, getting drunk so that they can hydrate, which any alcoholic beverage will not hydrate you because the alcohol counteracts it in your system, all this fun jazz. Alcohol is not hydrating. I mean, maybe because there's so much water in beer compared to, vodka or something. I guess if they're, drinking beer and they're not sitting there doing vodka because, come on, Russia. But still, water, people. It's a drug test. Let's not introduce more drugs. But yeah, how the fuck was this not already banned? Really, Russia? Fucking Russia. But yeah, duh, you're going to let them drink at the fucking doping facility. You're sitting there. I can't understand how this was a thing. I seriously just don't understand how this wasn't like, I mean, yeah, that's it. I just don't understand how they weren't already, why it wasn't already banned, why it wasn't already a thing. It makes no sense whatsoever at all in any of the things. So yeah, there's that. But because I don't, overstuff the news, there's one thing left to do, and this one's a doozy. I mean, I I had to go this way. It's time for the Jackass of the Week. Okay. Speaking of drugs and doping, you might want to sit down for this. I mean, you may already be sitting down, I don't know. The number one bridge player in the world has been caught doping. Yeah, you heard that. The number one bridge, as in the card game, bridge player in the world has been suspended after testing positive for banned substances. The World Bridge Federation banned Geir Helgemo. I'm sorry, he's from Norway, I believe. After he tested positive for synthetic testosterone, which they admit is not considered a performance-enhancing drug in the game of bridge. It is banned from the sport, as the federation is, get this, recognized by the International Olympic Committee and adheres to World Anti-Doping Agency rules. Let me restate this. The World Bridge Federation, a card game, is recognized by the International Olympic Committee and follows World Anti-Doping Agency rules. It's a card game. It is a fucking card game. How the fuck are they recognized by the Olympic Committee and follow World Anti-Doping rules? This is the stuff that keeps professional athletes like baseball players and basketball players and tennis players and track and field and fucking curling teams from doping and using drugs. But apparently these people who play cards professionally are doping. What the fuck? It's a card game. Why do you have drug testing at all? I mean, seriously, it's a card game. Are the World Series of Poker gonna start testing for fucking anything? It's fucking cards. You know, I mean, shit, let's hope they don't start cracking down on the fucking amateur level games. I mean, Esther and Gretchen are probably going to get fined for having one too many gin and tonics on Tuesday. Seriously, how in the hell, as a sport, big, huge, elephant ear sized, air quotes here, sport, that involves playing cards, do you A, have recognition from the fucking IOC, and B, follow fucking anti-doping rules? You're playing cards. What performance-enhancing drugs could you be on other than Monster? Oh, he's sharper because he's on the caffeine. That's it. Maybe if you're on speed. Fine. If you're on speed because we're playing for 15 hours. I doubt it. That's probably the only banned substance you would need in a card game professionally. Like, oh, he's literally using dope. They're on speed. Why? Because it's a marathon game. I'm sure esports has a similar sort of thing. That's it. Fuck pot, testosterone. Is it HGH? Is it all that shit that they test? Big physical professional athletes and football players and wrestlers and all of these people that do a thing physically with their bodies for their professional sport. Yeah. None of that shit applies to a fucking card game. You just have to... No, there's nothing. There's no point at all. So, this jackass is going out to the World Bridge Federation and everybody out there, like the fuck, your IOC recognized for playing cards. What the fuck? This is going to them for being pretentious fucking assholes using World Anti-Doping Agency rules over a fucking card game. Recommended listening.
Hello, it's Heather from the Sunshine and Power Cuts podcast. In association with Geeks Rising, from the 9th to the 16th of March, or 10th to the 17th if you're here in New Zealand, 2019, we are hosting the first 2019 Sunshine Summit. It's a week of live streams with amazing content creators and the theme of celebrating connections. All of the details for the upcoming summit, as well as replays from our previous events and where the live streams will be happening, can be found at sunshinesummit.live. A huge thank you to the patrons of Sunshine and Power Cuts for making that possible. So check it out, and if you know the guests, we'd love for you to come and celebrate with us. And if they are new to you, come along, learn more about them, and we look forward to celebrating connections with you.
So I'm not going to do a full recommended listening segment this week. Just going to remind you that this Friday or Saturday, depending on where you are in the world, starts the March 2019 Sunshine Summit. If you want to know more about it, listen to last week's show with Heather Welch from Sunshine and Power Cuts, our gracious host for these awesome little get-togethers. Again, it's a week of live streams, 8 days, 11 hosts. Check them out. It's at sunshinesummit.live. You can also catch up on the past 2 summits, which I was a part of. There's so many people, and it's just such a great thing that I've enjoyed being a part of. I love getting to be a part of it. I love getting to promote and share the other people that are on it, and just all these connections that I've made and she's made, and the podcasting world has brought all these people together for this awesome thing. And it starts this Friday. You need to check it out. sunshineandpowercuts.live. Tune in every day. There's a bunch of stuff going on. Again, it's all in the show notes from last week's show, deadoutpodcast.com. But that's going to do it for me for this week. I've, in such a short amount of time, done a lot of talking. So I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much, and thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, Heather from Sunshine and Power Cuts, Lisa and Sam from I Shake My Head, and my newest Patreon supporter, Chris from Play Comics. You guys are all awesome. If you want to join them in this awesomeness, you can go to patreon.com/odddadout, and for as little as $1 a month, you get access to all of the monthly guest episodes early, with all of the extended before and after show chit chat and all of the stuff that I cut out and leave on the floor for the dogs to play with. I don't know what they would do with chopped up audio. That's just a visual gag. I don't know. Anyway, go to patreon.com/odddadout and sign up and be awesome. Either way, go to odddadoutpodcast.com, subscribe to the show, share it with all your friends on all the social medias. You can find me at odddadout on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or email me, show@odddadoutpodcast.com. And until next week, my oddballs, thank you and good night.